Well, hello everybody. I am Stuart, and you are.
I'm Teddy Burris.
I caught you off guard. That was a
Oh.
surprise.
It's a good thing I didn't have my eyes closed.
Hey everybody, this is our Power Hour. I'm grateful that you're here, especially our early birds, Danny and Dawn and so many others. Welcome to the new year, 2020. This is our kickoff Power Hour. Normally, as you all know, I start off with a series of slides of training. And Teddy, you've been on a guest on, actually, I think before you've been my guest, it was called the Ask Stuart Hour. Now it's called the Power Hour. And what I transitioned to, based on the feedback from members of my group sales boot camp, they said, hey, can you incorporate some training too? So now it's become a blend of training and Q&A, open Q&A, because the purpose of Power Hour, Teddy, is to give members a piece of me. If they got an issue, they got a challenge, they got a problem, they got an opportunity, and they want some feedback, they want some solutions, fresh ideas, or they want to cry a little bit, or if they want to jump up and down and celebrate, we do it together.
Yeah.
So not showing anything right so everybody can see us. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Hey, as you come in, everybody, just send a little message saying hello and welcome. So we're gonna dive right in right now. I have asked Teddy Burris, who you all probably remember from both of the group sales success summits. I invited Teddy in to share his expertise because he is an expert in.
I'm all about cat wrestling, Stuart, but my day gig is all about using LinkedIn as a business tool. LinkedIn is a business tool. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And, one of the things I love about this business and making new friends is accepting, and this goes for everybody watching right now, when we accept who we are, where we excel, our strengths, and give back, we can share that. We can be a beacon for others. But also when we realize, I shouldn't say the word but, and when we realize our shortcomings, where we're really not quite up to speed, where we really realize that we can improve, where we learn from others, we get inspired by others, we listen, and we take those salient tips of those who've been down that road, who know it better than we do, and we learn, and so we all grow. So Teddy, take a minute, if you will, please, for those of my boot camp members who are here who've never met you before. Who are you? What do you do, and why?
So, and I'm a constant learner, as you are, buddy. And you and I have been engaging in conversations for the last couple months and learning together. So I'm
Yep.
blessed that I grow a network of people who I not only can help, but those who can help me. So how do I help people? I am a LinkedIn strategist.
Okay.
I teach business professionals in all kinds of industries how to use LinkedIn to help them in their life, their career, their business, and their community. That's what I'm all about.
Okay. All right, beautiful. So you've set the stage. We know who you are, know what you do. And friends, are you watching Teddy? Are you listening to his words? That was his elevator speech. It was clear. It was concise. It was specific. It was focused. It's his niche.
Yeah.
So if I was to jump into the camera right now for all of our friends at home around the world, not really, around the country, and say, what's your elevator? What do you do? Who do you help? Why? Are you as eloquent? Are you as practiced with that? So as we kick off the year, there's a good lesson right there. And we talk about elevator speeches all the time. Like, it seems so old, but man, it's so important. Okay, let's get down to business. By the way, I'm going to ask Teddy to share a few tips and stories with us to inspire us about using the power of LinkedIn that I don't do yet, but I want to do. That's why Teddy's here. If you have questions for Teddy, please go ahead and type them in now, because he's not going to be with us the whole hour. He's going to be here for about 15 minutes, probably another 10 minutes, and then I'm letting him go. And then just so you guys and girls know, Teddy and I are coming back, and it's going to be using his Zoom link that I hope you've signed up for. We're going to spend about an hour together, which you'll talk about in a minute, talking a lot more in depth about LinkedIn, more stories, more information, but also that you're doing your own mastermind as well. So we'll get to that in a second. So Teddy, from what I understand, there's 3 key elements of LinkedIn that we need to master to leverage the power of LinkedIn, which is the profile, the network, and engagement. So profile, I think I get it. I understand. It's like our online brochure when people come to LinkedIn and they say, "Who is this guy Cohen?" So would you explain profile for us so we understand it?
Yeah, so Stuart, I drive it down to this. It's not a resume. Those of you who think your LinkedIn profile is your resume are making a huge, huge mistake. Think Tesla Motors. Think Maserati. Think BMW. Think any high-end product out there, and think about how they build their brochures for their current model car. That's how you get to think. So when you build your profile for the current model Stuart, you're speaking, you're doing 2 things very intentionally. Number 1 is you're telling people what this model of Stuart is all about, the 2020 model of Stuart. What are you all about? Second thing you're doing huge is you're speaking to your most important viewer, not the world.
Okay.
That's powerful.
That is powerful. And there's a huge lesson in there right now. In fact, right now, we could end it here. Each of us can go back to our LinkedIn profiles and say, does it answer that? Does it answer that challenge? Does my LinkedIn profile, and who am I today? Have I been updating it? And am I worrying about pleasing and appealing to everybody, or pleasing and appealing to the people who need to hear my message most? Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, Seth Godin calls it speak to the smallest viable audience. That's huge. Drive it down.
Yeah, that's very potent. Okay, that's profile. And again, we're taking like a 50,000-foot view here. I know when we meet again in the session that starts at 1:30 Eastern, you're gonna take a deeper dive, perhaps, especially in your mastermind. But number 2 is engagement. Okay, let me make it more.
And Stuart, let's go to network first. Let's go to network.
Okay, so network, explain that. On Facebook, my goal is I want as many friends as possible to be in my network, but with LinkedIn, it's different. So, would you break it out and tell us what that looks like?
Yeah, it's the same idea. The same idea as who you're building your profile for. You want to build a LinkedIn network of people. Here's the 3. Sometimes you say 2, but now I'm gonna say 3. Here's the 3 people you want to connect with on LinkedIn. Number 1, you want to connect with people you can help. I wrote the book, Networking for Mutual. So the first person you want to connect with on LinkedIn are people who are relevant to you in some way or another, who you can help. And the way you help them is very broad or very simplistic, very focused, whatever the answer is. Number 2, you want to connect with your most important viewer, your ideal audience, your target audience, the people who may have a need for what it is that you do, who may benefit by connecting with you, and you can, i.e., do business with them or whatever the goal is.
Okay.
Here's the third person, Stuart, that most people miss out on. Most people don't even think about. You want to connect with people who are influencers to your target audience.
Okay.
And this is there's a word wrapped around this beyond the word relevance. It's called purposeful.
Okay.
Purposeful connecting.
Wow, that was pretty heavy duty stuff. Simply put, but we really need to focus on that because we want to connect with influencers. And yeah, so this is different. The people who we want to follow us, to be in our network, very different from Instagram, very different from the Facebook concept.
Yeah.
This is about influence.
Yeah. Now there's another piece to this, and that is I want followers, Stuart. I want the world to follow me.
Mm.
But I'm not going to connect and try to engage with the world. I've got a huge LinkedIn following, and I love that people want to pay attention to me, but I'm purposeful about who I connect with. Yes, sir.
Yep. I hear you. Okay, let's transition to that third point that you wanted to bring up that I'm eager to hear, and that's about engagement, which let's equate it to the conversation, because LinkedIn, you can't be, and I know this, you can't be posting advertising, you can't be showing off. It's about seriously having a conversation. And by the way, everybody in my boot camp, if you just joined, Teddy's in the house here, you remember him from Group Sales Success Summit. I want you to know that there's two things going on here. Number one, Teddy is here legit because I have so much respect for him and his knowledge, and we're friends. He helps me, I help him. And Teddy's also doing a mastermind. And everyone in boot camp who's seen Teddy before said, man, like you, Scott, so many of you said, well, we want in on this, and how do we get Teddy to teach us and train us? And Teddy's put together a specific, purposeful LinkedIn mastermind. And it's not like my mastermind that I'm doing with Mike, which we're going down to Jamaica to meet, but then we'll be meeting after. This is an online, which you'll tell us about in a minute. Full disclosure here, I'm helping Teddy out, and if you need mastermind help, this is the guy, and the mastermind is the place. So I don't want this to be a sales pitch. That's why I want it to be information that we're sharing. Kind of like what you do on LinkedIn. You share stories that and you engage that could result perhaps in a future sale. So that in mind, let's talk engagement.
Conversations. It is called engagement, but it's all about trying to get into the right conversations with the right people about the right things. Studied an old dead guy, and I bet you've studied some old dead guys too, like Dale Carnegie. Hey, Stuart, they're going to be saying that about us one day, man. Yeah. But Dale Carnegie said, make the conversation all about the other person. And you got to do that on LinkedIn as well. And so when you get on LinkedIn and you connect with people and you find out where the relevance is, how do we align, you find ways to get into conversations with them about them. And when you do that, they will give you, where relevant and appropriate, they'll give you permission to talk about yourself, talk about your business, talk about how you can help them. The stories is huge. I've got a whole series of stories that started out about a week ago that's just still rolling out. Every day, Stuart, I get a message from somebody who says these words, Teddy, oh my God, I loved the story. People love stories and on LinkedIn as well.
Give us one example, if you will. I know when we meet again later this afternoon, you're going to give a lot more, stories to illustrate the points. Give us a story of somebody who, and I know you like to use the words, especially your mastermind and your LinkedIn training in general is business agnostic. Did I say that right? So whatever you're talking about here, you could be a travel entrepreneur, or you could be a lawyer, or a nurse practitioner, or you could be a sculptor. I don't know.
A professional cat wrestler. And here's a story about engagement. I mean, I've got one that's in my list that's going out. Oh, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. And but bottom line, I think it was, I forget his name. It's in my list that's going out, but his name just escaped me. I want to say Joshua. But here's what he did. He wanted to have a conversation with the CFO. And so he messaged the CFO and just said, hey, would you be open to a conversation about your business? He just asked the question, would you be open to a conversation? Too often people send out messages on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, Pinterest, Tinder, et cetera, and they say, hey, I had this widget. No, I'm joking. I had this widget to sell you. I want you to buy my widget.
Yes,
And
yes.
what they failed is, and Joshua said, would you be open to a conversation? And that is powerful.
Wow. Hey, everybody in boot camp, do this all together with me. Pull up your chair. Get closer to the screen, because what Teddy just suggested ties in so beautifully with our conversation around business development, new biz dev, new business development. You can send out all the emails you want. You can make all the phone calls you want. You can send out all the letters you want, and telling these CFOs and the CEOs and the VPs, hey, I've got a big idea. I want to do a group with you and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? You're probably going to get rejected because it's whose idea? It's your big idea, and they get a dozen of them a day, and boom, you're in the trash can. But LinkedIn gives us the opportunity to, hey, can we have a conversation? I'm impressed with your background, impressed with what you do. Let's chat. Kind of like that 15-minute meeting approach, which is what I preach to my boot campers, to get out, get up, and meet people. And LinkedIn can slide us in there in a very innocuous, unobtrusive way of connecting and making friends, having a conversation.
And you got to be willing, if you do it the right way, you've got to be willing to accept no. Willing to accept it politely, and because you know what? The answer is it's no right now. My question is always this: are you willing to have a conversation today about X? And if they say no, maybe tomorrow they will be.
Yeah, that's so important, and it's a life lesson, really, Teddy, which is taking rejection in a positive way, because maybe we didn't get that job. Maybe I didn't get that speaking gig. I just found out a company that hired me last year is not hiring me again this year. It's part of the business, part of the speaking business. And you know what I did? I sent a handwritten thank you for the prior business I've had. I said, I wish you stellar, and this is the truth, stellar success this year. If something should change or fall through, I'm on standby for you, because I love working with your constituents. Look forward to talking about 2021. It's the same thing, right?
It's the right thing to do. The right thing to do. Absolutely. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff. All right, we're going to take a couple of quick questions, then I'm going to let you get back to your stuff. Okay. And I also, while I'm about to ask these questions, so hang on, everybody. Just give us a elevator speech about your mastermind, so boot campers know, because they already know you, and if they're interested, they'll do it. If not, they'll move on.
Yeah. Hey, high level, 6 weeks of engagement, 6 weeks of content, 6 weeks of ask me questions, 6 weeks of scattered out through that. I'll have live webinars, live Facebook. It's going to be in a private Facebook group, and it's 6 weeks worth of all about how to build a presence, how to build a network, how to build a reputation, how to prospect, and use LinkedIn for your business to grow your business. And I love this stuff. And I've done this before, and I promise you it is a whole lot of fun, and B, a whole lot of growth.
Okay, that sounds great. And I'll put it, friends, I'll put the URL in boot camp. Again, if you want it, go for it. If you don't, I'm just looking to offer you options for growth, because so many of you were interested in LinkedIn, and Teddy's my friend, so I want to help him out.
Thanks, buddy.
What's the URL?
LinkedPro.com. I'll make sure you have it. LinkedPro.com. And if you can't find that, just Google Teddy and send Teddy a message. Say, dude, where is it? And I'll help you out.
Okay. Jackie says hi. Loretta says hi. Hello. Linda says, question, why do you suggest LinkedIn over Facebook, Instagram, etc.?
Audience. I'm not saying I suggest it over, but I am, because I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Quora. No, not on Tinder. It's not over. It's find the social media stream where your most important audience is in conversations or show up today. And Instagram doesn't give you the ability to have the easy conversations. It's pretty locked down on what you can do on Instagram. LinkedIn, you've got a little bit more. Facebook, you got a little bit more as well. It's not over, it's with.
Cool. Excellent. Linda, great question. All right, Matthew, we're going to rifle through these because I know that I got to let you go to prepare for the next one coming up. And by the way, friends, if you didn't get the link to be in the next hour I'm going to be doing with Teddy, which we're going to take a deeper dive, I will post it in boot camp as soon as Power Hour is done, just so you know, because you may have more interest. And I know you may have a busy day, so you get the replay. Hey, Matthew, do you use promotions on LinkedIn, or is your primary mode of communication to educate and bring awareness through articles, and then people are contacting you to book? So he's asking about, do you actually do promotions, or is it more articles and sharing and engaging?
So I don't do ads. I've experimented with ads. I've got a good buddy of mine who's an ad expert. Absolutely, AJ Wilcox. I don't do ads. I am a 90-10 guy. I'm a 90-10 guy. 90% of my content is all about helping my most important viewer, giving them ideas and knowledge and information and helping them grow. 10% of my content, 1 in 10, might be a link to my mastermind group, my one-on-one coaching, my corporate programs, whatever. 90% of my content is helping my people.
Wow. Them's big numbers, everybody. You listen to the expert right here. And look who's here. We've got a question from the great, the witty, the brilliant Mike Marshev, who has joined us on the Power Hour. He said, Teddy, and by the way, Mike is who I'm doing the mastermind group with, which is, hold on.
Yeah, change the slide, dude.
Hold on, wait. Nope, not that one. These are selfish promotions, Teddy. So look, there it is. That's the one. Hold on, that's it. Mastermind retreat, blah blah blah. You see it, and then of course, in case I forget my name, that's what I wear it. I wear it around the house. Hold on. So Mike wants to know, as you can see, this is unscripted. When you receive a request a request from an unknown, how do you qualify their purposefulness without coming across as a snob on LinkedIn?
Well, I'm hoping I know the answer to that. So here's how I do that. There's you can send a message back to every single person who sends you an invite, and you can ask them, who the heck are you and what the heck do you want? And by the way, I use better words than that. So if you send me an invite and I don't know who you are and you don't tell me why you want to connect, I am absolutely going to send you a message back and ask you, who are you? How can I help you? My words are very polite and friendly. And by the way, I do it for every single invite, and I have tools that help me make this easier.
That's brilliant. Just politely ask. You never know, because sometimes people are just simply looking to, let me expand my network and then I can. But it's not genuine. It's not authentic, and that's what Mike's point is. How do you make sure you're bringing in people who have good intentions, not just purely promotional, self-centered intentions? Great.
Thanks for that. Question. Powerful. Thank you for that question.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Let's trim it down. Ann says here, simple and mighty, based on your suggestions, your recommendations. Jalal, hey Jalal, how are you, my friend? Is there something on the screen as I see the screen saying waiting to view Stuart Cohn's screen? There's nothing on the screen. You should only see my gorgeous face and Teddy's gorgeous face. So Jalal, make sure that you can see that both, because if not, I don't know what to tell you. It's supposed to be working. I pay a lot of money for GoToWebinar. Linda says, I'm in LinkedIn as well, but I don't get a lot from it. I get job offers I don't want. Lorette,
here's why.
Yeah.
She's not using it.
Yeah.
She's not. She's just there. You just can't be there. You've got to use it.
Yeah. Yep, I hear you. Linda, that's a great question. And frankly, I need to learn this too. So when I tell you, Linda, that, hey, you're not using it, I'm not using it either. Okay. So I'm not leveraging. I'm just there because I know I have to be there. And the reason why I'm friends with Teddy is because he's a great guy. Not only he's a friend, but He's brilliant, so I'm going to learn a lot from him.
Yeah.
Loretta said, my LinkedIn seems to attract many in my own business. What have I done wrong? So that's going to be the last question, because I know you got to jump.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So here's the answer to that. I don't connect with I connect with LinkedIn consultants and trainers who do the stuff like I do, sort of like what I do, but I first and foremost connect with my most important viewer. Second thing, I try really hard not to engage on content about LinkedIn on LinkedIn. I try really hard to engage on content that's important to my target audience. When you're that purposeful about who you connect with and that purposeful about who you engage with, you will absolutely see LinkedIn change for you.
Fascinating. Great stuff. Teddy, I really appreciate you coming and being my guest to kick off today's training on the Power Hour. And I will see you very soon, because we're going to spend an hour together. And boot campers, I'll put the link in the Facebook group if you can join us, or at least get the replay. But it's going to be fun. And if you have any interest in learning more and want to invest in Teddy's mastermind, I'll post that information there too, and I hope that some of you will and report back so we can hear about your experience.
Hey, thank you everybody for letting me show up. I really appreciate it. B. Stewart, love you. Talk to you later.
See you later, Teddy. Thanks again.
All right, bye.
All right, Teddy's gonna jump out, and let me just see if we have any comments here. Catherine said, will we have a link to view later? My internet is too slow for this today. Absolutely, Catherine. All of these power hours are taped and are uploaded for all boot campers to see. And I also upload it to YouTube too. Now, the people who watch it on YouTube, my YouTube channel, naturally, if they're not a member of boot camp, they can't participate live. They can't be in these sessions. I can't address their very specific questions, need, challenges, opportunities. That's the purpose of boot camp, naturally. But I put them on YouTube because I want to spread the knowledge, spread the love. And somebody who's not a member of boot camp may look at it and go, "Damn, man, this guy's got a couple of hundred power hours or Ask Stewart hours. He must know what he's talking about. He's consistent. Sometimes he's smart. I don't know. I do my best, friends, and they join, and it's actually brought in a lot of new members. We've had several new members just join within the last 2 weeks. Jalal says, "Sorry, I can't see any of the photos. It's saying waiting to view Stewart." I don't know what's going on, my friend Jalal, but it sounds like everybody else can see us both. Mike, are you still there? Can you see at least me, Mike? I know Mike was in the house. I don't know, Mike, if you wanted to share anything on today's call. But all right, so friends, we are now getting back to Power Hour time. We've kicked off, as I've always promised, with some training. This time it was LinkedIn training. And now the agenda is your agenda. I have a list of some things that I want to talk about today. But what's very, very, very important to me is that I give you, my boot camp members, and a handful of invited guests. If you're an invited guest here, go ahead. Go ahead, bring it. What's going on? How's your 2020 looking? What are you doing to set up 2021 business right now? Is your 2020 group business sticking or kicking? In other words, because it's an election year, are you seeing slow bookings? Are you seeing bookings fall off? I want to know. Last year, for one of my clients, Travel Leaders Network, I toured the country doing sales expos. And my concept was, what should you be doing right now to ensure 2020 will not be a softer year, will not reflect a dip in business because it's an election year, but will actually grow despite all indications that election years are usually soft. So I delivered 10 salient points of what agents should be doing right now. Because we can either hunker in the bunker, friends, and we can sort of be a part of the shrinking pool of people who are traveling, and our business will then shrink, or we can go out and get more market share. Look, I don't believe if there's somebody out there who says they're definitely not traveling this year for whatever reason, that we may be able to convince them to travel asterisk. So let me just finish this point. Stick with me. Again, let me say it again. I think it's really hard to convince somebody, no, you should travel in 2020. It's going to be okay. Because whatever, for financial concerns, for what, they said, nope, we're going to go in 2021. But what you need to do is to focus on those people who are traveling to make sure that they don't have buyer's remorse, that they feel confident and safe, and that they should travel. And you're going to ask them, hey, who would it be fun to travel with? Maybe they can bring in the business you need so that you don't fall victim to a shrinking market share of people who are traveling 2020, but you grow against all odds. You can do it. So that asterisk I was referring to before is group travel overcomes soft years. Let me say it again. Group travel will overcome a potentially soft or constricting year of travel. Why? Because if there's a family reunion, if there's a corporate organizational, if there's an association, if there's a photography group, right, Danny? If there's a yoga group, a Pilates group, a mastermind group that Mike and I are doing, right? Despite it being potentially a soft year, we're going forward because our mastermind includes travel to Jamaica. Groups will break that. We'll break the barrier. We'll break the mold because there's a more of a reason for somebody to travel. Boy, I need to go to this event to be with these people and to have this experience. It may never come again. I can't miss the family reunion. I can't miss this river cruise and this wine tasting. I can't miss this, I don't know, learn how to knit or sculpt or whatever it may look. There's 42 billion types of group themes or niches. But beyond a shadow of a doubt, friends, you're in the right business. So let me confirm that. Then I'm going to get to your questions and get to the issues I want to bring up that I think you'll be interested in hearing. But the fact that you have all picked to start your own group revolution is something that's going to carry you through this year and be more successful than an agency who has not chosen to champion groups, right? So make sure you go love on the groups you already have booked. Make sure there's no buyer's remorse. Make sure you're always asking the people who've already booked, hey, who would it be fun to travel with? Do you have any friends and family, right? So grow it organically, because normally the group bookings are going to stick because they realize that this is an event I can't miss. These people, this product, this experience. Experience. It's about the experience when it comes to groups. Okay, let me check the board, see what we've got here. Mike said, I see you speaking, Jalal. There are no slides. Right. So there are no slides, Jalal. It should just be two right now, one talking head. Just me. So Jalal, I hope it's working for you. Loretta said, I feel my travelers are going ahead and booking this year. I agree groups for 2021 need to be set up quickly. Absolutely, Loretta. Okay. I agree with you that right now we need to be doing two things, friends. We need to be shoring up the groups we already have on the books for 2020. Making sure there's no buyer's remorse, there's no fear, there's no concerns. That group is going, we're going. In fact, we're growing. Not only are we going, we're growing. Okay, and number two, what seeds are you planting now to develop 2021 business? And what I love is that Teddy just showed us that I know I'm not using LinkedIn to get new speaking gigs. Too bad. What an opportunity. I mean, I got over 500 connections, right? That's what they're not called on Facebook, but they are called on LinkedIn. And I'm not leveraging it. I mean, I look at LinkedIn, but I don't use it properly, and I should be, because perhaps I can have conversations with some CEOs or some of the meeting planners who I'm connected with to see if they need me for this year's convention, this year's conference. And maybe they need you for this year's group trip or individual trip, right? Okay, so let's see what we got here. Anything else? Nope. Okay, so as you are all typing in your questions and issues, and please do so. And by the way, I always suggest this. I want to see, my goal is to have at least one of you ask that your microphone be turned on, just one, because I think it adds a really nice element to hear somebody else's voice in addition to mine. And I know in the past we've had Nancy has turned her mic on, Karen has turned her mic on, but who's going to be the brave one this time? You don't have to put your camera on if you don't want. And this is about public speaking, friends, overcoming that fear of public speaking. And if you do have that fear, most people do, here's an opportunity where we won't see you, we'll hear you, your beautiful voice, and we're just going to have a short conversation. So I want to know who's going to be the one or two. Just tell me, and I'll coordinate when we're going to put your mic on, because I can't do it. You need to start it, and then I'll accept it, and we'll blah, blah, blah. So I don't just put it on without you knowing. Okay, so here's on my list today, as you guys and gals who are joining me here, which I'm so grateful for. Happy, healthy, prosperous New Year. If you missed my welcome message at the very beginning. I have one tip for you. I don't know if your state is requiring or offering the opportunity for people, residents, to have a real ID. Do you know what I'm talking about? Let me know if you know what I'm talking about when it comes to a real ID. It's this new driver's license. So in the state of Tennessee, I'm only going to talk about the state here. In order for us, when we go to travel in the future, which I think is going to be at the end of this year, end of 2020, this is important. Of course, you're travel professionals. You need to know this. In the state of New Jersey, in order for me to use my driver's license to get on that aeroplane starting in Q3, I need to have a real ID. Or else I need to have my passport. Now, to be honest with you, I really don't want to have to travel using my passport domestically. It makes no sense to me. I don't need it. It's too important of a document that I'm afraid I'm going to lose. And it's just something else I have to remember to bring. It would be really bad. I show up at the airport without my passport, but my driver's license, and I can't get on the flight. And I travel a lot. So I went to go get my real ID to the Department of Motor Vehicles. And my wife, Kimberly, she was successful. She had all the right paperwork, but I did not. So after waiting 90 minutes, it was a really sad turn of events when I came home empty-handed. Why didn't I get it? Well, let me explain real quick, friends, because you need to know this because it may affect you and your travelers if it's the same rule for your state. I am a solopreneur, an entrepreneur. I work for myself. You guys and gals know that. So the information that they require for a real ID is a Social Security card. I don't have my Social Security card. I probably lost it when I was 6. I haven't seen it since then. I have no idea where it is. So going in, I didn't have my Social Security card. Who keeps that? Do you? I've never used it before. Come on. So the problem is, instead of that, I don't have a payroll check stub, right? I'm not on the payroll. For me, entrepreneur, it works differently. I don't have a W-2 that has my name on it. The W-2s I have and the 1099s I have my company name, SLC ETC, not Stuart Cohen. So I went in with tons of paperwork hoping that they could use tax returns, this, that, and the other thing, and they said no. I was turned around and told to go to my room, which is what I did. Now I'm trying to request a new Social Security card, and I've been locked out of the .gov system. So it's been a rabbit hole for your friend Stu. Not very exciting and not very encouraging. In any case, I tell you this news because if this is a law or rule that's going into effect in your state too, it's, I think, your responsibility to check with your travelers that if that they should get the real ID and not wait for the last minute rush, which you can imagine what the DMV is going to look like when it's rush time, when it's pressure time, when it's deadline time. Or they need to travel with a passport in addition to their regular driver's license. So let me take a break from this. Let me see if there's any comments or questions to see if I'm the only one having this experience, to make sure that you're all aware of this. Anne said yes. So apparently you are aware of this. LaDonna, hey LaDonna, says drop dead date for real ID in California is October this year. I'll be getting mine when I renew on my birthday in June. So there you go. So I have a feeling, LaDonna, I appreciate you sharing that October date is a nationwide date, because I think that's our time period too. I don't remember the date other than the month is October. Remember I told you I knew it was somewhere towards the end of the year. And you're going to do it when you go to renew, which is great. So you totally get it. You're going to be ready. You'll be there. Scott said, go to webinars, horrible, had a total blackout, off for 15 to 20 minutes. Hey friends, is Scott the only one experiencing a difficult connection, or is it with all of you? Let me know. I mean, at my end, I see myself, I can't hear myself, and I don't know till I get your feedback. So Scott, let me see if I do a quick survey here to see what our friends are saying. Anne said hers is fine. So Scott, it may be a connection at your end, my friend. Jalal, same with you. I don't know, but there's always something quirky going on that I don't know why. Leslie said very good connection. Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate that. Lori said nope, perfect since I logged on. So there you go, Scott. I'm sorry, my friend, but it may be the internet at your end. I don't know. Okay, so Jean Ann, hey Jean Ann, welcome. I'm glad you're here. It says real ID is also needed to get into federal buildings. And she said her connection is fine. So thanks, Jean Ann, for confirming that. So there you go. This real ID conversation, I think, is something we all need to be aware of, and your colleagues need to be aware of. And I think it's our responsibility to tell our travelers, don't wait. Because could you imagine what that line's going to look like as we approach October, and how many people, and you don't want it to be one of your people to show up for just a flight down of Disney and to get turned around saying, sorry, your driver's license ain't good enough anymore. Where's your real ID? Where's your passport? All right. Any more comments? Go ahead and post them there. Any more questions? Go ahead and post them there. Linda said they are trying to make sure we are all citizens. I get it. Well, I'm not commenting on if you know anything about that other than, man, it's just a pain. It's a real pain. And you know, I'll do what I got to do. I don't really understand why what we're currently doing is not good enough. We use our driver's license, or you can use your passport to board a flight too, of course. And internationally, it has to be a passport. I don't understand, but we follow the rules so that we can travel and be good citizens. So I understand. Loretta said, what on the driver's license shows it's a real ID? Loretta, okay, I have no idea. Okay, I have no idea. Does anybody have a real ID out there? Does it look any different? I really don't know. I know Kimberly, oh, I should have asked her if she got it or if it comes in the mail. I don't even remember, but she was successful. She got it. Oh, Leslie said there was a star. There's a star. Linda said Colorado has a star up in the right-hand corner. There you go. Ann said my state has a star in the corner. Catherine said has a star or asterisk on it. There you go. Thank you. See, I'm learning here. Kay said, okay, mine is good. Lynn said, hey, Lynn, welcome back. Yes, I have one. Took 2 visits with the correct info. Star in the corner. There you go. Judy said has a star in the right-hand corner. Thanks, everybody. There we go. Now I know. I didn't know what the difference was. That makes it real. Okay. The other thing I want to make a quick question for you. Who did you all? I know Gina and you did. A bunch of you attended the live recording of Group Launch Sequence, and if you guys and gals missed it, I felt it was essential for me to re-record the Group Launch Sequence training because I've delivered it so many times on webinars and live. I get paid very handsomely to do this by companies who hire me to do this. I've realized there were opportunities for me to strengthen it. And based on experience of you all using it and me using it, because I just did it with Mike Marshev and I. As you guys know, we just launched our mastermind group. I tried to follow the same procedures that I recommend you. It's a group, isn't it? It's a group. Or go to Jamaica. There you go. It's the same thing, friends. So, I don't like to teach it unless I practice it. I like to practice what I preach. There you go. To prove that it works and to continuously update and upgrade. So I will be editing that down, putting it in the new boot camp, but I don't know if anybody attended it, if you had any comments or questions, but you'll be seeing that soon. So I want to bring this up, and again, I invite you to share what's going on in 2020 and 2021 with your business. I came up with this concept. How many of you actually rewrite your business plan annually? I want to know how many of you actually update your business plan in a big way. So it's one thing that as you're going day to day to day, you make changes, and you still want to stay true to your plan. You don't want to deviate too far, because if you do, then you could end up so far off course and say, oh man, how did I get here? I've sort of abandoned my goals, and I don't know where I'm at. And sometimes we allow ourselves to get pulled terribly off track. But for me, we all do our personal resolution, but I also do a business resolution. My business resolution is also known as, AKA, my business plan. So at the end of every year, beginning of every year, I rewrite my business plan top to bottom, because at the end of the year, I can reflect back what worked, what didn't work, where was I happy, where was I not, where did I make money, where didn't I make money, what didn't I get done in 2019 that I want to get done in 2020, and why? And I realized, friends, that and there is a point to this. So and I think what will be a good tip. So stick with me here. What I realized was that for the past 2 or 3 years, there's been critical things that I really, really, really deep down inside, I have such zeal for, such passion for, that I want to do, that just get bumped, and they get carried over year after year. And I realize you might be saying, well, Stuart, there's a time and a place for everything. You can't do everything. Sometimes other things pop up, like I had a very, very busy speaking season the second half of the year, and that takes me away. I love it. That's okay. So I'm not getting down on myself, other than, man, these things I really want to do. So I came up with a new way how to create my business plan. And it's not the love circle technique that I've taught before about determining your niche. And it's not the pros and cons. And it doesn't come down strictly to what's my biggest money maker, because just because it's my biggest money maker doesn't mean it's my biggest happy maker. So what makes me the happiest? And sometimes the things that make me the happiest aren't necessarily the biggest money makers. So I created 2 lists. I want to share this with you. And I just wrote an article for TRO. I don't know if you've ever seen my articles. Mike writes there too. My column is called Motivationally Speaking, and I just submit my article this morning. So I create 2 lists in helping me to write my new business plan for the new year, my new resolutions. One is called Sell Work, and one is called Soul Work. Sell Work, S-E-L-L work, and Soul Work, S-O-U-L work. Sell Work and Soul Work. Now, if I just kind of let that hang out there, could you figure out where I'm going with this? Could you tell me how I've defined these 2 categories? Right. Sell work is stuff that I do predominantly to make me more money. It doesn't mean I don't love doing it, but it's done predominantly to make money, to keep the lights on, the roof over the head, go on vacations and buy all the toys that I like and go out fun dinners and so forth and so on. The sell work, it's more financially oriented. Soul work, S-O-U-L, soul work is the work I do that the cash, the money, the profit, the income is not the number one objective. It's the work that I do that I really, really love to do. And frankly, there's been a couple of things that I haven't launched yet, and I don't know if they're going to make me money. So their primary mission is just to launch it and do it because I want to do it, like Solopreneur Network. And if I don't know if Mike is still on, but this has been on my list for like 3 years. I have all these plans and visions, and I just never take the time to launch it. Solopreneur Network. I've taken a deep dive into ADHD. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before. It's not something that I talk publicly about, but I will start because ADHD is a part of my life. It is who I am. It defines me. It has surpluses and deficits. And sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not so good. And my mission in life is to not let it be my kryptonite, but to let it be my superpower. And I have taken a deep dive reading and writing, and I'm going to launch my concept is, how do we leverage ADHD as a skill set? What do you think of that? As a skill set. So we don't have to say superpower. We don't have to say deficit or disorder, but as a skill set. I think every company needs at least one ADHD wired brain on the team. But there's a lot of training, a lot of coaching that comes along with that. So everybody is on board with this concept. So I've been very excited to launch that this year. I've already started because I want to score myself a TEDx talk on that very topic. Then I have a business I'm doing with my wife. It's called Healthy Sexy You, HSU, Healthy Sexy You. Okay. So, I'm a certified integrative health coach. So these are the things I love. I don't know if they're going to make money or not, but let me just bring it full circle for you. Then I want to get your input, your feedback, friends, because maybe you should try this as an exercise to set up the list of soul work and cell work and mesh them together. That's the secret, when you mesh them together. But what it did was, when I did this exercise, I said, okay, I need to put, because time is our only asset, our only commodity, and the time we don't have enough time when we don't plan properly. We have all the time we need. We're not getting any more hours in a day. It's going to be 24. So it's how we use it. We've heard this before. So I know I need to spend a little less time on some of these cell work items and a little more time on these soul work items. And then I also know, and here's the kicker, that by launching the ADHD thing, which I can use in my speaking business as well, in my writing business, by launching Healthy Sexy, by launching Solopreneur Network, it's going to eventually make me money. I know that. I feel that. So in order to put more time here, I have to put a little less time onto some of these projects. So I created a really beautiful, a better life balance for my 2020 marketing plan, and I'm very excited. So I just wanted to offer that to you. I don't like to practice what I preach, so it's called a cell work list and a soul work list. And if you're authentic and honest with yourself, you'll be shocked and surprised to see what's on both lists, and you'll end up maybe rebalancing your marketing plan. Maybe it will help you determine what your true niche really is. Maybe it will help you determine, hey, it's Monday morning. What am I going to do today? So you run your business versus letting your business run you. You know when to say yes. You know when to say no, right? You know how to schedule out a day's activities, a week's activities, a month's activities, and complete a project that's going to be most important to you. Scott says, I'm going to read feedback now. Stick with me, everybody. We got about 6 minutes to go. So if you have an issue, question, concern, comment, need help, now's the time. Type it in. Scott says, mine is white and there's a star. Okay, so we're talking about the the real ID. So Scott's already got it. Linda said, I'm trying to review group launch sequence. I'm trying to update my business plan now. Awesome, Linda. Then you're in the right place at the right time, and the right time at the right place. And I am not posting group launch secrets on YouTube. That is worth a lot of money, and I don't share that free ever. But I think if you go back and you click the old webinar link that I had sent out, you'll be able to see the replay, or else hang in there. I'll be putting into boot camp soon. Catherine said, yes, I update it annually. That's referring to the marketing plan. That's great. LaDonna said, I did a marketing plan for this year, and I'm excited about it. That's great. Friends, whether you use my method or not, I believe every year, you can do it on a calendar, you can do midway through the year, whatever. It doesn't matter when you do it, but you should be constantly, consistently evaluating your successes and failures, evaluating how far off track you may be, and making sure that you're staying on track and doing the stuff. So let me end it here with this whole concept that, you know, they say you need to do what you love, right? You need to do what you love. I think do what you love and what makes you money, which is your business plan. Because sometimes if you just do what you love, well, and you don't have opportunities where you can cash it in too and make money helping other people, because it's all about helping other people, then you might not keep the electric on, may not be able to pay the energy bill. But if you know that you're doing what you love and makes you money, or could lead you to making more money. And if you go back and look at your list of the stuff that makes you money, stuff that, okay, it makes me money, but it doesn't really make me terribly happy. So, you know, in the long run, if you do a little less of that, but a little more of the stuff that you love doing and will make you money, it balances out. Making sense? I hope so. Sheila said, hi there, I have a question for you. What do you think of a small CEO group contacting you for retreat ideas with no budget? They've done their own thing at Fairmonts, etc., and paid for conference rooms. First time they're approaching an agent. How much information to give, to keep, without doing the work now until commitment? So this is a great question, Sheila. So somebody is sort of testing you to see, hey, we've done this before, and they come right out saying, we don't have a budget to pay for you. We've done it our own way, and you know, here's how it works. I guess they do it just pretty simplistically, and it's first time they're approaching an agent. So here's the beautiful part. Number one, realize, Sheila, that they would have never approached you if they didn't realize they could be missing out on something. Maybe they're the event is not as impactful, effective, or maybe it's just too much work. Maybe nobody in that company knows really how to run a retreat, which is probably true, which is why they're hiring you, which is why people hire you to do groups and they don't do it on their own. Friends, if everyone was a group expert, a group travel expert, they wouldn't need you. You'd be out of business. They do it themselves. Well, they hire you because you're the expert. You know what you're doing. They don't. And if they think they do, well, in this case, maybe they've been doing it and it's not been terribly successful. So here's what I would suggest, Sheila. This is I think a wonderful opportunity. And it's very common for the company to say, we have no budget to pay you, because you know how this works. The best way to package this out is to, if there's no opportunity for you to say, okay, my fee is this, then you build your cost into the overall package, right? You bake it in so that especially if it's a retreat, the company knows who's already going. It's almost like an incentive. It's a corporate trip. The people, specifically my guests, they're not paying out of their pocket, but the company is. So I'm just making this up. Maybe you give them a price tag of $50,000, and that includes the hotel, that includes the transfers, that includes the meals, that includes the cocktail party, that includes this, that includes your fee. But how much information do you give them? So I say you be generous. I say you do what Patrick Lencioni preaches in his book, Getting Naked. You become, I know, right? You're like, what? No, it's a book about being a consultative salesperson, consultative selling. And I've got a minute, so I've got to wind up. You sit down and you roll up your sleeves and tell me, okay, why are you talking to me? You've done it before. What went wrong? What didn't go right? What do you want more of? What do you want less of? How can I help? So you need to be number one at a fact-finding mission, and then You want to give them this much, but not this much, right? You want to tell them how things could be different, but not tell them how to do it, right? When I do this thing with Teddy coming up in shortly, she's going to give out a lot of information that you can take and you can action, but if he gave out too much, there'd be no reason for a mastermind. He's not going to do it free, and certainly not in an hour. It's going to take 6 weeks and longer to put the stuff into practice. So it's the same thing. You want to give them a taste of your expertise and show them what it could look like with you running it. So your proposal that, of course, I want you to do live. I don't want you to send this in an email, Sheila. Very important. They're going to say, just put it in an email to us. And you're going to say, no, I'd like to come in and present it. Oh, you don't want me to come in? Fine. I'll do it on Skype. Well, but it's a live presentation. You don't send the deck before you present, because they're going to take it and say, thanks, we'll read it. We'll call you in the morning. No. You want to present it and say, look, when we talked about it, you told me that when you've done this in the past, this was inadequate. This was just too stressful. And that the people who were supposed to be participating in the meeting ended up planning the meeting, and they didn't get everything out of the meeting. So we need an outsider. And that's the benefit, Sheila, that if you do it, then everyone can participate. No one has that monkey on their back. No one has that stress of running a meeting, because they're not running professionals. They're not retreat professionals. You are. And if you don't know how to run a retreat, learn how. Watch how Mike and I are doing it. Or find out what they've done in the past. Read up on it. Ask me for help in boot camp. Does that make sense, Sheila? And then if they want you to put together, this is a final note, a proposal, I think it's okay for you to ask for a non-disclosure, or not a non-disclosure, but more of a, my goodness, what's it called, Stuart? What's it called, where you sign a letter of intent? So for a 30-day period, they promise they won't take the business elsewhere, and you promise you won't take this idea someplace else, that it's an exclusive relationship here for 30 days, and you're going to sit and plan out and show them the price point. But with anything, Sheila, you got to put something on the line. You have to prove to them you do know more. You have to paint the picture, immerse them in the experience of what it will look like with you running it, and that they don't have to worry about paying you, because your fee is baked into the price, your fee. And then you go back and use everything we teach in boot camp. The package, the power of the package. All right, friends, I hope that helps. We are like a minute or two over time, and I see some more questions have coming in. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to, Sheila has read that book too. Good deal. Hey, Nancy's here. Now listen, we got to go. I got to respect your time. Any additional questions that have come in that I didn't get to, or comments, I'll put in our Facebook group. I thank you for being there. I hope you enjoyed Teddy, who kicked off today's program. And I will go ahead right now and put that link in to the next program I'm going to do with Teddy, which revolves around his mastermind, but he's also going to be teaching and storytelling as well. Thank you. We'll see you for our next Power Hour, which is, hold on, January 28th. And I'll be doing that from Boston, because I'm heading to Boston next week. My daughter's having a baby, and I'm going to be a grandfather, and I'm going to be there. I'm so excited. Bye, everybody.